I guess there's no, I'm sure everybody's process differs as since the writing process is so individual. But I know, like Brandon Sanderson, for example, his writing lectures, he said something like 10%. The metric I think that he uses is 10% of the work kind of his story is about what the work kind of his world building is. So I found that from the first novel I drafted was a pretty solid metric. But yeah, I find for me it's almost like I'm a lot heavier of a plotter, so I really do like to write all the scenes that I'm going to write, and that it almost always changes every time I've done it. I'll just kind of brainstorm all the scenes from beginning to end, and then as I review every scene, I ask myself, okay, for this to happen, what are the things in the world that I need to know to give life to that scene? And that kind of that gave me a massive list of things that I need to work through. So this week was a big world building week. And yeah, just kind of an update there on the story. I'm super excited for this one. I think this one has a lot of interest. This one is it's the most me story I've written. I'll say that. So I think a lot of the skills that I've developed over the course of the past year now, writing fiction, are really being put to its test with the story. And I think I'm hoping, that I could just make the story as good as possible. And it's really embedding a lot of these ideas that are interesting me. And it is, yeah, I don't know, the part of me that tends towards a more mystical mind. In a way, I almost feel as if while I'm researching the story while I'm world building my story, it's almost as if I'm in this information field, and I almost feel the ideas, or I have this intuitive sense towards specific books, or an intuitive sense towards specific research or podcasts. And it almost feels as if the information is pulling to me. And it's not like I'm not the first one to sort of describe this. And I mean, some might say it's a mystical way of viewing it, but it's really what it felt like. Like just finished reading I had just finished reading Philip K. Dick's The Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch. I was figuring out what I wanted to read next. Like for me, it's really I feel like this story, Dune, was a big inspiration. So before the Philip K. Dick book, I read Dune, and I really kind of I know, like, as I'm writing and world building my stories, the source material that I'm or the sources that I'm deriving insight and information from is really important to me, to sort of fill my stories with the, I guess, correct life and correct information. And I found that I was drawn to a book by the name of Something Deeply Hidden, and it's a nonfiction book by Sean Carroll, and it is a complicated book. It's a quantum physics book.